Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. We're here today with a very interesting bike, the 2022 Honda NT1100. Now they've grabbed the engine out of the Africa Twin 1100, put it in this, made more of a road-focused motorbike, which I think could be a winning formula. Could it be more practical and applicable to everyday riding than the Africa Twin? Let's find out. As you can see, it's much more road biased, this motorbike, with its 17-inch front wheel, less travel suspension. You've got your boxes here. The panniers actually come as standards. This is an optional and extra, this top box, but yeah, we'll get into all of that in a bit. What we'll do is just jump on the bike and go for a ride and just get a completely first initial impressions, and then I'll go a bit more in depth into the details and specs and so on. But first off, I'd like to say a massive thank you, because none of this could happen if we don't have these very kind dealers, to Branson Motorcycles in Yeovil, for lending me this really nice looking bike for today to get a test ride in and let you guys see what we think of it. Right, let's hop on. So immediately, the seat height is 820mm. It's actually really easy to get on there. I actually didn't even think about it then. I just hopped straight on. Yeah, let's fire her straight up and just see how she feels. Now this motor is a peach. It's really nice in the Africa Twin. Yeah, and it's no less as nice on this motorbike. This is going to be a really interesting ride actually. Take a while for the screen to fire up. There we go. This screen is very technical. It's all touch screen. We'll go into it a bit later. This is the DCT version. So no clutch, which I always find a bit odd. The controls are down here. You've got a drive, neutral and sport, and then you can actually flick it into manual, and it's got some paddles over here for up and down. Just pop it into drive. You can feel it go into gear with a little clunk there, and we're off. I am actually very much looking forward to this test ride. Oh, that DCT is so smooth. I used to own a 2016 Africa Twin. I had a bit of a history with that bike. I really liked it. I mean, what sold me on it is the looks. I just love the look of the Africa Twin, the high up stance, the paintwork, off-road. I think it's a stunning looking bike. To be completely honest, I struggled with 21-inch front wheel on it, because, you know, I bought it dreaming of, I'm gonna go to Morocco and do some massive tours around Morocco and Spain and off-road. To be honest, it's a real life story. I never did that. I literally just used it to commute to work every day and back, and that was it. And when it got to the weekend, I just sort of never did that much on it, so I felt like I was wasting it, and the off-road potential of it I just was not using. Everything else on the bike I absolutely loved. Now that they've done a road focus version, I'm feeling this could be a really potentially good package. First impressions, it's really smooth. That same as the Africa Twin motor, the 1100. If you haven't ridden it, it's just such a nice package, this motor. It's got character to it as well. It's a parallel twin. It's just sort of thumpy. It's a really great package. You'd really recommend trying it out if you haven't ridden it. This bike is the DCT, so no clutch and no gear lever down there. It always takes me. I've ridden it a few times now, and it's a really good system. It really is so relaxing. And in this setup, I think it'll match this bike fantastically. But it takes a minute to get used to it. I'm constantly thinking, what am I doing with my left foot? I mean, initially, I've just been talking to you guys the whole time, but it's very easy to ride. This screen, that's in its highest setting. That's quite a high screen actually. The riding position's very comfortable. It's like a very neutral, straight back. I'm not stretched forward, I'm not leaning back. The handlebars aren't too high. It's really, really comfortable. Oh, it turns in nicely. It does turn in very nicely, a lot better than the Africa Twin. I'll get on a bit of a quicker road. Such a good engine. So now I press that again, it takes you into sport automatically. I rode a GS the other day, BMW GS, the adventure version as well, but I would go so far as to say this is better wind protection than that, I think. It's a windy day today. I'm going to go and find some twisties and we'll catch up with you there. Looking for some nice roads, just run in behind a lovely van here. Well, if we go over the engine specs, obviously it's the same as the Africa Twins. 100 brake horsepower and 104 Newton meters of torque, which are not massive figures, but as I often say, actually, that's a sort of a sweet spot for me. I really like that level of power. It's such a nice, smooth engine, just cruising through town, and now just cruising. It's the vibe of this bike. It's so comfortable. In matching with this DCT gearbox, I could just literally ride this all day, no problem at all. It turns in beautifully. It's a very well balanced machine. I think I can say straight out of the box, with the amount of off-roading, okay, if you're off-roading a lot, then an Africa Twin makes complete sense. Or if you just love the bike, you love the look of it, you love the idea of it, you know, it's a great bike. But I would go for this already. It's got all of the good bits about the Africa Twin, but it's just so much better on the road, I personally think. I can already tell that. It's really neutrally balanced. It's really very nice, comfortable motorbike. I'm in sport mode now. If you pop it back into drive on the DCT box, just by that button, just calms everything down. I would say it's not an exciting bike, an exciting sports tourer, because that's the category it's in. It's, you know, it's sports tourer. It's a very pleasurable ride. It's actually really relaxing and just turns into the corners, you know, just set and go. It really just flows nicely. It's a sort of flowing style bike, I think. It's not like the I rode the other day, actually. I test rode the Kawasaki Z900 RS, completely different type of bike, but that's a bit peppier, a bit more springy, you know, a bit more waspy. This is not super fast. It's just very relaxing and a very nice touring proposition, actually. I think they've done a really good job on this. So I want to get into these national speed limits here, just to show you the benefit. It's not slow, it's not a slow bike. Show you the benefit of this DCT. Just pop it in sport now, one press of the button, it immediately knocks it down a cog or two, as long as I can get a nice bit of road to go at. A BMW RT there. Hello, sir. Here we go. Plenty of pull on the motor. Doesn't gas out for overtake. Fistful of throttle like that, it knocks it down a cog for you, which is good. So how would I describe the handling? It's not sharp handling. It's not like darty to turn in or really quick to turn in. Saying that, it's considerably better than the Africa Twin, but it's relaxing style handling, I think I'd say. It's very predictable and controllable, and once you're in there, it's very planted and settled. On the riding position again, I'm really enjoying this motorbike, by the way, just as a emotional thing. I think this is a great bike. It's so comfortable and relaxing with the DCT as well. It's so sort of neutral and easy. I mean, I can really get a lean on. I'm actually finding it easier to ride than the BMW GS I did the other day. The riding position, which I'm a big fan of, especially with the screen in its utmost position. It's sort of like you're sort of sitting in the bike. It really is good wind protection. You're in a sort of bubble of calm. And you're lower down as well. It's not like an adventure bike where you're quite high up. I'm feeling quite sort of with that 820mm seat height. It just makes the whole riding position feel cosseting and comfortable. Great wind protection all around with these little flaps here, shark wings, not sure what they call them. It's a really nice package, guys. Just whilst we're on it, actually, found a nice spot here. The turning circle's actually really good as well. Something I noticed, a lot better than a lot of other bikes. I mean, you can easily do a demo. Sort of average width of a road here, pull right over to the left. Well, I'll just go over it. But not quite, but it's a really good turning angle on it. Look at that. So let's go over some of the specifications. I'm actually really I say this a lot on my reviews, I love most of the bikes I review, but actually I'm very pleasantly surprised with this motorbike. Never been that attracted to sports tourers, but I can really see the benefits if any of the others are like this. They are great bikes. This is a really nice, comfortable, good handling bike. So if we get into the engine, it's 1100 out of the Africa Twin. It's actually a 1084cc, 270 degree parallel twin, 100 brake horsepower and 104 Newton meters of torque, so there's a nice amount of torque there and quite a nice 100 brake horsepower figure, and it's got plenty of go. It's not an immediate response engine. It's not, I wouldn't describe it as a very quick engine. For on-road, it's a really lovely amount of power, and it's got plenty, as you saw earlier, for overtaking, so it's really not lacking for power. Another fact about the engine is I ride a Speedmaster, a cruiser style bike, and this actually has that low down torque, and it's sort of pop 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 pop, but it's very relaxing. There's no vibes at all. It's really smooth. Makes it so nice and characterful for riding on the road. Moving on to the suspension and brakes. Up in front, we've got two 310mm disc brakes with 4 piston calipers on. They're Nissin brakes. It's nothing majorly flashy, but they're really good brakes. Great stopping power. They're not really sharp, nothing to write home about, but they work great on the road and just what you need really. So onto the front suspension. It's Showa, 43mm diameter and 150mm travel. Like I say, on the road, I mean, it's so smooth. It's an inverted fork as well, very well settled and nice in the corners. It's partly due down to the 17-inch wheel actually. I'm used to larger front wheels, like the Africa Twin for instance, but yeah, the suspension is really nice out of the box. It's adjustable manually, and we'll come on to that in a second, but yeah, really great suspension. So moving on to the rear suspension briefly, got a single, if you can see it, maybe around here a bit, a single 256mm disc with a single piston caliper on it, and it's Nissin again. So you also have 150mm worth of travel on the rear suspension as well. It is adjustable, preload adjustable by this little knob there, for want of a better term. If you know what you're doing, you can do that pretty quickly, because this is a type of bike that you could quite comfortably have a pillion, and as you can see with these massive panniers, which come standard with the bike, the top box is an optional extra with something called the Urban Pack, but these two side panniers, they are standard, which I think is a really nice feature from Honda to add into the standard spec there. Dimensions and weight. So if we start off with the seat height, it's an 820mm seat height, which actually I'm recently finding out is my favourite seat height. 820mm for my height. I'm 5'9", and I can just about flat foot my feet on it, and it's really useful for, I stop a lot on bikes and hop on and off for coffees and filming, etc. It's just a great height for me to be able to hop on and off really easily. I'll jump on now, show you what it looks like. So moving on to the weight, bit of a change of spot here. Unfortunately got moved on from our last spot. Apparently it was private land. It was in the way of farm vehicles, but there didn't seem to be too many farm vehicles going past, and I'm not too sure it was private land, but hey ho, not going to argue with them, don't want to cause any trouble. So we're here in a very large car park, completely empty. Moving on to the weight of the bike, she is the NT1100. It's 238 kilograms. Now actually, I know I feel like I'm raving about this bike now, but actually to move it, possibly because it's lower down than a few adventure bikes I have ridden, but it's really easy to manhandle around, or lady handle around, not to be sexist. So you grab the handlebars and the rails, and just to move back and forward, it really is very easy. That weight must be really low down because it's surprisingly easy to maneuver, so no problems there. In terms of competition, it is about 11 kilograms more, I would say, to its probably closest rival, maybe the Yamaha 900 GT, the Tracer, from a sort of sports touring motorbike. That is 227 kilograms here or there. So yeah, it's a little bit heavier, but it really doesn't feel it. It's a really nice weight. So guys, moving on to the price of the bike. This version is a DCT, dual clutch transmission. So it's slightly more expensive. It's £1,000 more expensive. It's 12,999, so just a smidge under 13,000. And the manual version is 11,999, so a smidge under 12. Which, you know, there are lots of other bikes in that that price range. Lots of other great motorbikes in that price range, but for what you're getting here, it's a very, very good, well-priced motorbike, I think, because this is a really grown-up, capable, very quality item, and it rides really nicely. I've basically got everything you need. It doesn't have all of the bells and whistles, which are available on motorbikes, but I think pretty much you don't really need much more than this has got. I mean, it comes standard with cruise control, which is great. I'm a big fan of cruise control, especially on a tourer like this. Comes standard, it's got heated grips coming as standard, it's got various rider modes. You can't really ask for much more. I think any more than that is really sort of a luxury and not really necessary, to be honest. Yeah, it's a really good, fairly basic, but got everything you need, comfortable package. Before we jump back on, let's see what she sounds like. To me, I love the sound of it. I think it really is one of the better ones. I actually used to have I never know how to pronounce it, terminology exhaust on my Africa Twin, and that was woo, mega sounding bike, so you could do the same with this. Time to head back now, but last of all, what do you think of the looks? So it comes in 3 different colours. It comes in a white, like a grey, metallic grey, and this black colour. Let me know what you think, but I would like it if they did it in the Africa Twin paintwork. I think that would be really nice. These are very bland colours, but in all black here, it doesn't look bad. It's a very neat, sensible, neutral looking motorbike. If that's what you're after, then it's really good. It's a non-offensive look. It's just sort of typical sports tourer look. I quite like the front end here, where these indicators, same on the Africa Twin, are always on, and then when you indicate they start blinking. I like that, and it's got a slight angle to it, this front end. With the panniers on the top box on, I think that actually looks really nice. Onto the panniers in the top box, I'm not going to go over it now, but they're really easy. It's just a key, same key for all of them. You key in, twist, pull this bit up here, and it comes out, and then again, to take the whole thing off, you just literally lift this handle up and the whole pannier comes off, so that's really easy. I'll jump back on. It's been really good. In fact, I've just remembered one last thing before we go. The screen, that's in its highest setting, but the screen is so good. The wind protection is phenomenal on this bike, but you have to adjust it when you're off the bike with 2 hands, and it just pushes down. It's quite stiff. That is quite hard, and then you push it up. It's really solid. It does take a bit of effort to adjust the screen. Not a problem, but you can't do it on the fly, so that might be a downside to some of you. I would find that a little bit of a problem, not a deal breaker at all. Yeah, sadly, I'll take it back now. I'd like to say again, a massive thank you to Branson Motorcycles in Yeovil. They've got a great selection of, you know, Hondas. They do Yamaha as well, and I believe they actually do Herald motorcycles as well. If you're in and around that area, get down. Really welcoming, nice people, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to let you have a test ride on one of their bikes. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the review. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. It really does help out, and there's lots more to come. Till next time, ciao bella. The screen's so good. I just ride along with my visor open, which I love because you get that sort of fresh air. Yeah, I'm sold on this bike. I really like it.